But I'm here today with Roxanne Perez, WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. Thanks everyone for joining us. Roxanne, how does it feel to be back in San Antonio, one of the places where you got your start with RCW, Mission Pro Wrestling? By the way, your Wikipedia page still has your RCW headshot. Just putting that out there. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
uh, but you're from Laredo, a Texas girl. So what does it feel like to be back in this tour? You're going to be in San Antonio on Friday for a WWE Smackdown. You have a couple super shows in Edinburgh and Corpus Christi, and then over to Raw for Houston.
Yeah, I'm so excited to finally be back home and walk into my home turf with some championship gold.
All right. Did 16-year-old Roxy ever envision being a WWE Tag Team Champion so quickly?
Oh yeah, 100%. 16-year-old Roxy imagined myself as being a Grand Slam champion and main eventing WrestleMania. So this is just something that's coming up with me along the way.
All right, you're kind of living up to your nickname, which is the Prodigy. Only 23 years old. Uh, you won the Ring of Honor title only at 19. Uh,
Mhm.
all these accomplishments at such a young age. What does that say about your trajectory, and why do you think you've had success so quickly?
I think because I started putting in the work at a really young age and I didn't stop. I took it very seriously. I started training at 13 years old and I knew that obviously I would probably not get opportunities as quickly as I wanted to because you can't get opportunities at 16, 17, 15, 14. But I knew that if I put in the work and I put in those 10,000 hours, one day when I was possibly 23 years old, I would be unstoppable. And now here I am, 23. I've been a two-time NXT Women's Champion, an NXT Tag Team Champion, and now WWE Women's Tag Team Champion.
All right. Well, tell everyone a little bit about your background, Laredo, growing up watching wrestling, and when did you realize this is what you wanted to do? Obviously, you started wanting at 13, training for it.
Yeah, I started watching wrestling when I was about 10 years old. And I remember my dad was flipping the channels one day and The Rock came up and he was cutting a promo. I'm pretty sure he was singing on a guitar, and after that, I stayed watching the rest of the show, and I was hooked after that. I watched every Monday Night Raw and every SmackDown, and I just knew that one day that that's what I wanted to do.
All right. But it also took a lot of sacrifice. I was watching your video with Sheamus on his workout channel, and he mentioned that you had to take the Greyhound bus to get back to training every single week. Tell me a little bit about that and the sacrifice that went involved in taking that Greyhound to get back and forth to your training when you were just 16.
Yeah, so yeah, I originally started training when I was 13 in Laredo, Texas, in a warehouse, and we would kind of move the ring from warehouse to backyard to warehouse. And then when I was 16, I started training at Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, and I would hop on a Greyhound from Laredo, Texas, all the way to Houston, and sometimes there was even Greyhound layovers, I guess you would say, because you would stop in maybe San Antonio and wait 2 hours and then hop on another bus to get to Houston. And I'd be in there doing my homework, doing I did early college as well, so I was doing college essays on the bus and getting there, staying at my aunt and uncle's house and going to train, then coming back home and going to school. And yeah, just whenever I had time off, if there was any weekends that I had off or, spring break in summer, I would try to make my way to Booker's and put in the work.
All right. That's a lot of sacrifice on your part, but also everyone that raised you, with your mother, your father, your aunt, uncle, seeing them on the weekends. How much did they have to sacrifice to be able to get to where you are now? Just being with you on those Greyhounds and putting you on those Greyhounds and waving goodbye. And how proud are you now that you've accomplished so much already?
Yeah, my mom is very, very proud. Um, I usually was just traveling always by myself, but I'm sure that that was nerve-wracking for my mom. She always had a little GPS on me and was making sure where I was and calling me and texting me and making sure I made it safe. And that is a big sacrifice on her part because there's not many parents, I think, with which I completely understand. Putting your kid on on a bus 6 hours away is a little nerve-wracking, but my mom knew that that's what I wanted to do, and she made sure that she could do everything to help me make that possible.
Yeah, the dividends paid off pretty early. Obviously, you wrestled here at the RCW and Mission Pro. Uh,
Hmm.
I did go along with Booker T school at Reality. Then you won the Ring of Honor title at only 19. What did that kind of mean for your career? Because it just kept stinging you. You just kept taking quick step after quick step after quick step. It was the first
Yeah.
Ring of Honor women's title.
Yeah, I was the first Ring of Honor Women's Champion, the inaugural. So that was really cool, and I think that that kind of solidified me on the indies as someone that could be something really big in the wrestling industry. And that's actually what I feel like WWE noticed me from the most because after Ring of Honor kind of went out of business for a little bit, that's exactly when WWE called me and said, "Hey, we heard what happened. We want to bring you in for a tryout." I remember it was William Regal that called me on the phone, and yeah, the rest is history.
All right. You still, that's only 4 years ago, 23 years old. Uh, you already had a bunch of dream matches. I mean, everyone knows AJ Lee's the one. All right. Everyone knows it. But why her? But also, who are you looking forward to facing that you haven't done faced yet?
Ooh, there's a lot of women that I haven't faced yet that I really want to. Alexa Bliss is someone that I really want to step inside the ring with one-on-one. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Bailey, which I have unfinished business with Bailey, so I definitely need to step inside the ring with her and teach her a lesson or two. Teach her why they call me the prodigy. And yeah, I feel like I could go on and on. Everybody, anybody and everybody that wants to get roxed can get roxed.
And you always credit AJ Lee and Bailey as kind of being your two people that you leaned on to the most. What kind of drew you to those competitors when you were watching?
I think, they were very different from everybody else, whether it be their characters and just the way they look and the way they present themselves and the fact that they both came up loving wrestling so much it was their dream and they made it happen. And them being Latina, I'm Latina. I'm very proud to be a Latina and having them as someone that I could see myself in as a kid really made me feel like, okay, one day it's possible for me to be on that screen if they're on that screen.
All right, and you've been on the screen a lot. You've been in a Money in the Bank, 3 Royal Rumbles, including your first one, which was here in San Antonio, an Iron Survivor, and an Elimination Chamber. What's your most meaningful match or favorite match that you've had so far?
Um, that's a hard question because there's a lot, but
So much so soon, right?
yeah, yeah, so many. Honestly, it would have to be between maybe my match with Meiko Satomura because as she's retired now, she was someone that I said on the indies that I really wanted to have a match with. She was one of my dream matches. So being able to have that match with her as the NXT Women's Champion on NXT before she retired, oh my gosh, that was just so cool. She's a legend and being able to share the ring with her was was really cool. And also wrestling Mandy Rose for my NXT Women's Championship the first time that I won that. I think that that was a really full circle moment, my first full circle moment in NXT because it was my first WWE Championship that I won and Booker T was there and he was someone that just believed in me from the start. So just to have that celebration with him, have that moment, and knew that my mom was watching, my family was watching. It was really cool.
All right. When you were here for the Rumble, you got a pretty good reception. You'd only been on, I believe, in WWE for about 8 months at that point. I mean, you were already the NXT Women's Champion at that point too. But you got a great reception. What did that kind of mean to you to be able to have the crowd interact with you so quickly?
Oh, that was awesome. And it was in San Antonio as well. So that was really, really cool to have my first Rumble in my home state of Texas. And I think that that's maybe why I got that reception, because it was my people. And yeah, I remember getting eliminated and walking to the back and running into two fans that had been at every single Booker T reality wrestling show on the Indies. And that was also, I feel like I have so many full circle moments in WWE. I feel like they never end, but that was really cool because you know, it just it just showed, if you put in the hard work, it's so possible, and running into people that were there along the way is really special.
All right. You third Rumble, we went from about 4.5 minutes, I think, to 8.5 minutes and lasting in the Rumble to this year, an hour and 7 minutes. Were you surprised when they said you're going to go in number three and last all the way to the end, and it ended up being an hour and seven? And what kind of conditioning does that take to last that long in a match?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really prepare. I feel like you always have to stay ready because I didn't find out until the day before. So it's not like you can really prepare yourself for that. You just always got to stay ready. And um, I don't think I was really surprised at that point anymore. I feel like I've had a lot of moments where I've been surprised and like, wow, me. But now I'm like, no, yeah, me. Like I've put in the work to solidify myself as the prodigy, to show everyone why I'm one of the best and youngest on this roster. So so yeah, I think that I proved to everybody that I could be in that spot.
All right. A couple other things here. One of my favorite things you do, which is much like Rey Mysterio, you run the second rope instead of trying to make yourself too tall, like a lot of shorter girls do. And you hit that second rope and you do very well. How did that come about, and why does that work so well for you?
Because I can't reach the top rope. That's how that came about. But yeah, I felt like, okay, why not just make it easier on myself and give myself a little more momentum rather than trying to tippy toe and reach to the top and not get as much bounce off of the rope. I feel like I get a pretty good bounce off of the middle rope, and the legend Rey Mysterio does it, so why not, steal a little steal a little thing that he does and make it work for me.
Yeah, you need to teach some of the other smaller girls to do it too. Looks much better. It just looks much better. Uh, so I got to follow up with that. Are you actually 5 feet tall? And have you ever heard the nickname the internet has given you, the Tiny Chief?
Yes, I am 5 foot, maybe like 5 foot and a half. But yes, I have heard this nickname, and I'm so glad that everybody is acknowledging the tiny chief.
Red Room. All right. Little more serious note. Your newfound fame did bring some issues for you with fans online. How has that been an adjustment for you, and how do you protect yourself now that you are, the prodigy and a tag champ, and you're very popular?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I said your newfound fame has brought you some issues online this year. How has that been an adjustment for you, and how do you protect yourself as a celebrity now?
Yeah. Yeah, I always heard about these stories, but I never really expected them to happen, especially so soon. Um, you know, situations like that can be very scary, and I think that people should take these things seriously, and I think that people should be very careful with what they post online because you don't know how it can affect other people. But yeah, I mean, WWE does a great job at protecting us, and regardless of whatever is posted online or whatever threats happen online, WWE has the best security in the world. So, yeah, I feel very safe with the WWE.
All right. You've also been able to use your platform for the issues you believe in, and we won't go to all of them, but how important is it for you to be able to do that?
Very important. I think my main thing is making sure that everybody knows it's okay to speak on mental health. Mental health is a very serious thing, and even us that we're constantly traveling, and sometimes we don't have enough time for ourselves. So making sure that you do everything you can to make sure that you're healthy on the inside and also up here.
All right. You actually made your TV debut on Total Divas when you were just a fan, right? You now just completed an Evolution 2. And how far has Division come in since the 10 years when you were a fan? And what's next for the evolution of women's wrestling?
The evolution of women's wrestling and myself has been really cool to see and be a part of. And, we came from having 2-minute matches to now being main events on Raw, on SmackDown, on pay-per-views, of having our own all women's pay-per-view because there's so many women that are just so talented and the division is so stacked. Yeah, it's really awesome to see, and I think that women's wrestling is better than it's ever been before right now, and I think it's only going to get better. So I'm really excited, and I think everybody should be excited for the future.
All right. As we mentioned earlier, we have SmackDown this weekend. We have in San Antonio, we have Edinburgh, Corpus Christi, Houston, and you're doing it all, and you're traveling this weekend with fellow South Texan and fellow tag team champion Raquel Rodriguez. How has been working with the Judgment Day and her on the main roster helped you so far?
It's been awesome. It's been the perfect way I could have asked to come up on the main roster, to be a part of the the best faction in WWE history, I think. What better faction to be a part of than the Judgment Day? We're holding all the gold right now, so I think that our group just speaks for itself, and I'm so glad that I'm able to be a part of that now and prove to them why they need the prodigy in their corner.
All right, Roxanne, I appreciate you joining us today. And I mentioned all the shows we have this weekend in the area. WWE SmackDown San Antonio at the Frost Bank Center. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.